Hello and welcome to the Go Teach podcast. I'm Dr. Valerie Hill-Jackson. I am the principal investigator and director of Brazos Valley Teach. I have the pleasure of having Ms. Amy Jones of Blinn College join us today. Amy has been with the college for over 23 years in various capacities. Today, we're going to have a conversation about what it means to identify the next generation of teachers in the Brazos Valley. So, Amy, thank you for being here today. Let's share a little bit with the audience about your background.
Thank you, Dr. Hill-Jackson. My name is Amy Jones, and I'm actually the program coordinator for education and early childhood education at Blinn College. And I'm actually from this area. I'm from Bryan College Station. I was a pre-kindergarten teacher for 11 years in Bryan ISD, and I've now been with Blinn for 23 years. So, and I am a teacher as well as a teacher educator.
All right. Thank you for being here today, Amy. You know, partnerships are really tough and really hard to get started. Why do you think Blinn College decided to have this partnership with Brazos Valley Teach?
We are so excited to be part of this partnership because we have had a partnership with Texas A&M for a long time. We have a Associates of Science degree in education, and we have developed partnerships over the years with our courses that transfer. And I'm so excited about this partnership because it actually extends down to high school. And so we're identifying future teachers, even as early as when they're freshmen in high school. And so to have this ongoing partnership and be able to identify these teachers early on and then shepherd them through high school and through Blinn College for their degree here at Blinn, and then on to A&M to become Aggie teachers.
Amy, you talk about this shepherding process. So that really kind of connects to the highlights of the program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. That is the highlight of the program, I believe, is that we are identifying individuals that would like to be teachers very early on. We are providing a support system for those individuals, not only with the dual credit courses that they're taking at the high school level, but also to receive an associate's degree at Blinn College and then on to their bachelor's degree. But also it puts them into a cohort group of like-minded students that want to be teachers. It provides a support system with mentorships, externships later on, and just general support, both from the Blinn College education faculty and the Texas A&M faculty. And it gives them opportunities early on in high school to get into classrooms, figure out, is this what they want to do? Do they want to be teachers?
You know, Amy, the research is very clear that the community colleges are really positioned to set students up for, their careers in the future. How do you think that community colleges at the 2-year level and the 4-year institutions can work together a little bit better to help make this possible for our students?
I'm a firm believer in the fact that community colleges really act as a bridge. They act as a bridge between high school and the 4-year institutions. Sometimes we have students that for whatever reason are not quite ready or in a place to go to a 4-year institution. And so coming to a community college, we are able to set them up for success at the 4-year institution level. The nature of community colleges is that we have typically smaller classes, smaller campuses. Usually they're very regional. And so we can almost, I talked about shepherding earlier. We can identify those students early on in high school when they're taking dual credit. And we can get them into the community college system, and then we can support them and sometimes help them figure out what they want to do and get them ready to go on to the 4-year institution level. And that's been a really positive thing about the partnership between Blinn College and Texas A&M. Geographically, we're so close together, but also we work with the same students and we just help them through the process, especially of becoming Aggie teachers.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit because that world of dual credit is a little complicated for a lot of kids and their families. Can you talk to me about what dual credit classes are and then specifically about those 4 dual credit classes that are unique to the field of education and training?
Yes, absolutely. Dual credit is really an important component for for student success. Dual credit at the high school level allows for a student to get not only high school credit at times for a certain subject, a certain course, but also to get college credit. It introduces them to to what a college credit course is like. It's usually at a higher level, so that students are actually, engaging in college level material with sometimes the college level instructor or the high school level instructor. It offers a lot of support because those students are younger than age 18. They haven't graduated yet, but it gets them on the pathway to success in college credit. And it allows them to get some college credits under their belt before they move to the community college or the four-year institution level. So there's a lot of benefits. It's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. After 23 years in the business, I'm sure you probably were not shocked to learn that we're now facing a national teaching shortage. How do you think a program like Brazos Valley Teach can help to kind of stem where we're going in the state of Texas?
We do have a teacher shortage, not only brought on by the pandemic, but just in general, because we do have a lot of teachers that are retiring. A lot of them took the opportunity during the pandemic to retire. And so we've got to have a new group of teachers coming up. And what better way to identify those teachers than to go into the high schools, talk to these students, what they say, I've always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. Well, let's talk to that individual teacher and let's get them on that pathway. Maybe they don't want to be a kindergarten teacher. Maybe they want to be a middle school teacher or a high school teacher. And we can put the support system underneath them at the high school level and then the college level and then the university level.
Indeed. And maybe more baby teachers along the way.
More teachers. Absolutely.
Awesome. Listen, I want to ask you about sort of your vision for this partnership between Blinn College and Brazos Valley Teach. Where do you see our partnership in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see us continuing right on this path. I feel like that we have just really scratched the surface. We've identified several teachers. I mean, it's a year by year basis. So if we have 10 teachers that we've identified as a freshman, and then they become sophomores, and then we identify another group of teachers at the freshman or future teachers at the freshman level. So we will continue our partnerships. We have a good, strong partnership. We have transferability of our courses. We have a more streamlined process for them becoming teachers by participating in this grant. So I'm excited about this. I think that we will, I know that we will continue on supporting these individuals as they move through their pathway of becoming teachers.
In the state of Texas, we have something really exciting called career and technical education classes with a lot of endorsements. And I believe a lot of our families at home probably aren't aware that CTE exists for their students. A lot of different areas. And one of those areas is public service. So you can be a high school student in the state of Texas and earn a public service endorsement. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And then also share those 4 courses that are associated with a public service endorsement.
Absolutely. We identified, that was one of our tasks through this grant, was to identify what does a career and technical education endorsement for teaching and learning look like? What can we put together? And we put together an endorsement of 4 classes. We identified 4 classes. These are 4 high school classes. And then we also identified the college coursework that would articulate with that, so that students not only would be earning this endorsement and having these experiences in teaching and learning, but then also receive technical and academic dual credit. And we identified 4 classes. So there's 4 different levels. The first class is Principles of Education and Training. This is a course that really is the nuts and bolts about being a teacher, why you want to be a teacher. It explores things like the history of education, different types of education careers, because there are more aspects to education other than just teaching.
So,
And
Amy, a
mhm.
student would take that course about when?
They would take that freshman year. So that'll be the first course in the endorsement. And with that course, we identified a technical education course that they will get credit for. So I see the EC 1392. And so they will be taking the high school course, really exploring education careers, the history of education. What is education? What is teaching? And then they also get college credit for that, technical college credit. Then we move on to level 2. And level 2 is human growth and development, child growth and development. And that is ages and stages, all the way from early childhood, all the way up through adolescence, and maybe a little bit past that. And so we identified an academic dual credit class for that, TECA 1354. And so that's what I call ages and stages, because in order to teach, you really have to understand the students that you are working with and what their developmental levels are. And then our level 3 is another academic dual credit class, and it is instructional practices. And that's where we get right into what it's like to be a teacher: lesson planning, curriculum planning, what is assessment, what is what is a good learning environment, how to facilitate that in the classroom so that learning is successful and teaching is successful. And that is EDUC 1301. So that is a academic dual credit class.
And that occurs about junior year?
That's junior year. Mm-hmm. Yes, junior year. Mm-hmm. And then our fourth level is senior year, and it is a practicum class. So this is when our high school students get even more opportunity to go into the classroom and spend more time. Maybe a student has always wanted to be a 5th grade math teacher. Well, we will be able to get them into a 5th grade math class, see what that's all about. So they actually get to take everything they've learned in level 1, 2, and 3,
right,
and apply it in a practicum setting under the supervision of a classroom teacher.
I love that, Amy, because for a lot of students, they don't get a chance to see the inside of a classroom through the lens of a teacher until they become student teachers. And sometimes it's way too late. They've invested a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time.
And let's give them that opportunity early on. And so I think that that's the beauty of this grant and the work that we've done, and the work that we've done to establish this career and technical endorsement, and the partnerships between Blinn College and Texas A&M.
So, I want to sort of, put a little button on this, because I want the audience out there to understand that there are 2 tracks with Brazos Valley Teach. There is that endorsement track only, but there's also what we call the college track. Can you sort of clarify that a little bit for us?
At Blinn College, we have two types of degrees. We have a technical degree, Associates in Applied Science in Early Childhood Education, which is our technical track. These are our early childhood professionals. They are childcare workers. They are Head Start teachers. They might be paraprofessionals in the public schools. And then we have the academic track, which is the Associates of Science in Education. That is the track to become a certified public school teacher. And that's the beauty of this endorsement. These 4 classes, there are 2 technical classes and there are 2 academic classes. And so a student coming through this endorsement, if they were to go on the technical pathway to the AAS, to early childhood, 3 of those classes count on the degree. And so they can actually bring in that college credit to this degree towards their Associates in Applied Science to become an early childhood professional, someone working in childcare, working in private schools, working at Head Start, working as a paraprofessional. Then in that endorsement with those 4 classes, if you wanted to go the academic route, the academic pathway to becoming an Aggie teacher, there are 2 classes that count. Level 2 and level 3 are academic transfer credit. And so those fit directly on the Associates of Science in Education and also transfer into A&M. So it's definitely a dual endorsement. We're going to have students that are coming into the AAS, technical program in early childhood education at Blaine College, and then also on the academic track, the Associates of Science in Education that transfers to A&M. And they are all in the same class. That's the beauty of this. They are all together in high school taking these dual credit courses, and they're working together, even though they may be going in slightly different directions, but they're in the same class and they're having the same experiences with the field experience and working with each other.
You know, Amy, I'm thinking as a parent at home listening to all this, and if I had a kiddo in my household who was interested in a career in education, specifically to teaching, I may want to get them involved as early as grade 9, experience these 4 classes, go on to a 2-year institution. And if that's done well, if they follow that roadmap, our students can expect to have an entire year shaved off their education. So that means real time saved, but more importantly, real money saved. We save tuition dollars, right, for prospective teachers. I think it's a real great sort of alternative to the sort of 4-year approach when we can say to students, if you follow this roadmap, you can get your degree in 3 years. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Go Teach. It's been our pleasure to interview Ms. Amy Jones of Blaine College. Amy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Join us next time on the next episode of Go Teach.